Ooh, guys, I got good stuff for you guys here today. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Real Healing Institute. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I'm a divine healer, spiritual mentor, and teacher. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about two things today because these have been coming up a couple times in the last sessions that I've been doing with either clients or in with the circle or doing something for myself. First one is about money. This is about gold. And silver and all the different precious metals. And the second one is a past life that just came through this morning that I have to tell you about because it has karma involved in it and it will make you think about your life differently. Okay, so first of all, the message that I got was about metals, was about gold and silver and all the precious metals. So gold, the reason why it is so valuable is not because of its rarity, but because of the properties of the gold and the actual vibrational frequency that is held within it. And silver is used for purity. So think about this when you would be wearing, let's say, gold or silver jewelry. We're going to talk about this in terms of giving money. So let's imagine here for a second that you're paying for your coffee. Well, what do? Do you have cash on you? Maybe. Do you probably have a debit card on you and that's what you use instead? Yeah, more than likely. You're probably using this. And so either way, whether you have the cash or whether you have the debit card, what do you think about when you go to pay for your coffee? What's the thought that's there? Probably none. Probably just swipe, there we go, I got my coffee. You don't even think about it. Now, what would happen if when you go to pay for this coffee, instead of mindlessly doing this, because everything is spirit, so everything we can put beautiful intention into, if you held the intention, I'm giving a bit of gold for this coffee, how would that change things for you? I will tell you, it would change things for you greatly. Because now you have had an intention of giving something that is very valuable to you. Yeah, you're giving it in a little small amount because it's coffee, but you're giving something that is very valuable and very precious to you to somebody else. So what happens through this is I'm giving you this vibration, this frequency of gold, super high frequency. I'm giving this to you, and so what is going to return back to me? We know all about karma. So you are going to get that same frequency, that same vibration returned back to you. What a beautiful thing this is. So beautiful. Okay, so depending on where you're at in your spiritual journey, do you still need to purify some things about yourself? If the answer is yes, silver is about purity, so it can help you. So if you think about, let's say you're going to wear a silver ring, when you put that ring on, and you need to be intentional with which finger that you put it on as well. But if you put that ring on, you can have the intention when you're putting it on, so just putting the thought, the intention with it, that this is for purifying, and pick some specific area that you need purification on and use it for that. This is all intention. So I was told when I was channeling the other night about like these precious metals and whatnot, that somebody, if they were to give you a penny, but they were to give you that penny and they were to give it to you with the vibration, the frequency of gold, that penny would be so valuable. And the worthiness of that penny would completely change from a piece of, they're actually not even full copper, anymore these days, into that of actual gold. And so if somebody gave that to you and they truly gave this to you with a pure and sincere heart, and they gave it to you, you would receive the frequency of the gold, not even the penny. In the example that they gave me, the contrast was if somebody gave you, basically wired you $1.5 million, but they gave it with ill intent, or they, gave it in, I guess just a non-thoughtful way of, how we normally would pay for our coffees or whatever, that it wouldn't hold any value. Yes, you would be able to buy things, but it wouldn't hold the vibrational frequency of the value of gold. It would essentially be worthless to you spiritually. So a penny given with good faith, with good intent, with the vibration and frequency of gold is more valuable than 1.5 million times that given in an ill-intended or a non-intended way. So keep that in mind next time that you go to pay for something, because we're going to talk about karma here, and so you'll understand even deeper how this will come back to you. Think about this next time that you pay for anything, next time that you give anybody any of your money. Give it gold. Give them gold every time. It's pure intent. Swipe your card, tap your card. Anytime you're putting in your PIN, you're getting fuel, you're doing anything, give gold. Why? Because it will be returned back to you in the same vibrational frequency that you sent it out. Okay, next story. So, next thing that came through was I had this feeling that I was wanting to get rid of. And so I call up my friend Alex, I don't call him up, I message him up. I'm like, hey dude, can you work with me for this? We've been working together for several years. We like to go back and forth. He got a thing, I got a thing, we do the things together. It's great. So in my session, I'm like, I got this feeling. I always have more than enough. I've always had more than enough. I don't know why I have this, had this physical feeling in my body that would, bring things up and make me think certain things that I didn't want to be thinking. So we follow it back, and he's like, where's this coming from? And I immediately go there. And this is a past life, and this is forever ago, for freaking ever ago. Like we're talking, well over 1,000 years. So anyways, I go back, and I'm this king who has been kicked out, who has been dethroned by my brother. So I had plenty access to everything and all the things, and then they sneakily, underhandedly kicked me out of my own kingdom, and my brother took over. It was him that instigated the whole thing, but then I was left, I'm hearing penniless. And so I'm out of the kingdom, and I'm on the street, and I'm seeing this play out, and then Alex says to me, well, what did you learn from this? And I learned, don't trust people. But that was not the thing. I mean, it was. But then what I saw was that this was my karma returning back to me from 1,170 years prior to that. That I didn't go into that life deep, but I must have done the same thing or something similar, and it was now being returned back to me this freaking long later, that far long later. Why? Why does this happen? Because think about all the lives that you live, right? So I'm going to be born into this life, and I have to learn this, and I'm going to be born into this life, and we have all this karma that accumulates. Oh, bless me. Okay. From these previous lives, we have all this karma that accumulates, and how in the heck are you going to get your karma to come back to you and to play out for you again? You'd have to live, this person's life, and then this person's life, and then you know what I mean? So these karmas that accumulate over lifetimes, they come back to us at some point in time. So this is why we also cannot be mad about anything that happens, because anything perceivably negative that happens until the point that you've come, that you've actually cleared all of your karma, or almost all of your karma, you don't know that these things that are happening are not from a previous incarnation where the karma did not have time to play out and has now returned back to you. So when you look at this from a soul perspective, we're all evolving, there's all evolution, and at some point perhaps you played a negative role, right? You played perhaps the bad guy, the perceivable bad guy in this person's eyes or that person's eyes, but guaranteed probably in your life you also played a very good and wonderful role for people as well, right? This is all perspective. So we have to get all of this karma back from the good and from the not so great and from all the things. But why does this have to happen? Why does this have to be this way? It is because we learn from it. So if you look at your life as a piece of artwork, okay? So during those, perceivably negative times, what does that artwork look like at that time? I don't know, maybe like scribbles, maybe like chaos, maybe like whatever. But then there's these other parts of that art that's just so beautiful and just like, oh, what a wonderful thing. And then when you back up from that piece of art, you can see the whole collective picture together, and the whole picture together is like, wow, that's beautiful, man. Like, that tells a story. There's a story in that. And it's a beautiful thing, but you can see that those chaotic pieces were a necessary piece of the big picture, or there would be something missing from the picture. And the light parts wouldn't be as light or as uplifted or as bright if those dark places hadn't been in there, because they actually help to uplift and shine that light even brighter. They help you to reach a higher frequency through those perceivable bad or negative times. So when you can look at your life as a whole, which is what I was doing here when I realized, oh, this is karma that's come back and all of these things, it helps you to forgive, and it helps you to realize there is nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive in the first place, because it's all for you. It's all been a benefit. It's all been for you, done for you, every little bit of it. So then a few weeks ago, I'm in Sedona, and I'm sitting on top of this, it's called the Airport Mesa, if you've ever been there. Then you would probably know, because you've probably been there. So we're sitting on top of this vortex, and me and my friend Alora, which go and follow us on Cosmic Christ Force. Just look it up on YouTube here. So this is who I'm working with. This is our new page. And if you come see us in Sedona, this is who you'll be working with, me and her. So we're sitting on top of Airport Mesa, and we're just, we sat in a couple different spots, and then we're sitting in one, and I was like, should we go move over there? And she's like, just wait, they're saying that you need to receive something else here. I was like, okay, cool. So I put out my hands, like I'm meditating, I'm just sitting like cross-legged, and I put out my left hand, because it's the receiving hand, and all of a sudden I'm looking at my hand, and I'm like, dude, my hand is filling up with gold coins. But they were like ancient, old coins. And I'm like, these are cool. And it's like I could like sort through them and see that they're all kind of different, but all, gold coins, different sizes, different shapes, different whatever. And I'm like, oh, and I'm told, this is your abundance. This is ancient abundance. You earn this. It's being returned to you now. I'm like, friggin' sweet. So the next thing I see is me as this woman. I don't know if she was royalty. I'm hearing yes, she was, but I have no idea who it is. But I've got this little brown sack that I kept my money in, all these coins, and I see her opening up the sack and reaching in and giving this to like the homeless children that were suffering on the street, and just going out and walking through the street and handing these coins out. And so it was like, oh, I got the full story of, well, you gave this, there was no time for this to be returned to you. You didn't need it returned to you in that life. Why would I need it? If I had that much to be giving, I didn't need any more to be returned to me. And so you can see these pieces of karma as well that play out of, yeah, you did this thing however long. It's like, oh, well, they never saw a return on it. And I mean, you might know somebody in their life and you're like, no, all that they did was good and all that they got was crap in return. Well, you don't know that person's mental state, and you don't know what it was that they were actually energetically sending out in this life. But not only that, you don't know what karma that they have now stored up for themselves that they will get to experience in a future incarnation. A wonderful, wonderful goodness will be returned to them. And you also don't know that in this life that they're perhaps suffering. You don't know whether it was their mental state, and you also don't know if it was just karma that was being returned back to them from a previous incarnation where that needed to be the result, because maybe You know, they had influenced somebody to not get what it was that they needed or what they deserved, and you have to pay for these things at some point. So the whole point of this is life is really freaking fun. And when you look at things in a happy and wonderful and joyful way, you can create so much more goodness in the world. So just know that every good and wonderful thing, it's meant for you. It's absolutely meant for you. And if you want to create more wonderful, joyful things that resonate at the frequency of gold, which is such a high vibration, why do you think all the royalty wanted it? It had nothing to do with the rarity, nothing to do with anything other than the vibration, than the frequency that it held within it. That's what it had to do with. This is why they wanted to be surrounded by it. They wanted to wear it. Some people drink gold. This is why, because of that vibration. And we know, you and me, that our intent is everything. It's all the things. And so when we put that, next time you pay for something, go swipe that card, just imagine that little bit of gold that you are putting into that machine, that you are giving to that person on the other end of it. And do this all the time, because as you're doing this, you are blessing that person with that frequency, and that same frequency will be returned back to you. It will not be forgotten. It will be returned back to you. So when you frame this in a way of, I want to do this to bless this person, and in return, my expectancy is that I will too be blessed, bless you and also you, the whole thingy. Yes, what a wonderful gift this is. So go out there, bless everyone that you meet, when you're buying your coffee, when you're buying your groceries, when you're buying that new shirt, when you're buying a pair of shoes, when you're purchasing that thing from this friend who's worked hard on their stuff and done all the things, and no matter what it is, bless them, give them gold, give them gold. That's what I got for you guys here today. I love you all so much. So nice talking to you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.